would you mind just stating, out of the current Supreme Court justices, which justices, a name or two of justices that you believe are interpreting the Constitution the way a justice ought to do?
Well, Scalia, for sure. He's probably my favorite for a couple of reasons. One, I love his very just biting tone when he is writing a dissent. It's brilliant. It's filled with logic and constitutional good sense. And I think he's one of the purest members of the court. Also, because I've gone duck hunting with Justice Scalia, he's a heck of a shot, and he takes down mallards about as well as he takes down crazy court opinions of his colleagues. But I'll also give some kudos to Sam Alito, who I think is also a brilliant jurist. He's not as prolific as a writer. It's not what he does. But when he does say something, it's brilliant. It's very clear. He is another pure constitutionalist. Clarence Thomas, I have great respect for. He's the quietest of all the members, but again, a very solid legal scholar. And when he does write, which is, again, not as prolific as maybe Scalia, his arguments are solid, they're sound, and he's very clearly a person who's focused on not his own political viewpoint, but on what does the Constitution say. I've been disappointed in John Roberts on a couple of decisions, but I will say this. His scathing rebuke in the same-sex marriage case was as good as I've ever read from anyone, and I thought that the most biting part of it was that he never referred to his colleagues as my esteemed colleagues on the court, my fellow justices. He simply referred to them as 5 unelected lawyers. And the means in which he held them in contempt for their conclusion by, frankly, what was a derogatory term, I thought was stunning and unusually clear for John Roberts.
So if you had a short list, Thomas and men like Thomas and Alito and Scalia were on it, that's the kind of justice you would want to appoint?
I would find out if they had been cloned, and if they had, I'd go look for those people.
All right.
But I would really want to make sure that you're not going to have somebody that pretends to be a person who really believes in the separation of powers of the Constitution, and then once he arrives or she arrives, then turns into an activist, because that's been the death of our great republic.